So, time to start. I'd like to welcome you all to this 32nd International Conference on Learning. La bienvenida a todos a este 32º Congreso Internacional sobre Aprendizaje. It's my pleasure to introduce the members of the board of this panel, and then the order will be the following. I will just give a short introduction, and then our colleagues from the Common Ground will also give you some words and some comments and their thoughts about the conference. And we have the honor of having here today Santiago Alonso García, who is the Vice Dean of Students of this School of Education, and Dr. Juan Luis Benítez, who is the Vice Rector, Vice Chancellor for Students, Student Service and Campus Life. So, I'd like, first of all, to thank the emerging scholars who are going to be helping you and helping for anything that you may need in these 3 days. You will recognize them. They are always, in the rooms or in the plenary sessions. Try to provide the information you may need. I hope everything works, Wi-Fi, or if anything related to buses or how to come and go from the city center, you're more than welcome to ask them. I'd also like to thank the School of Education, the Faculty of Education of the University of Granada for, welcoming us again. After 20 years, our cooperation started 20 years ago, as it will be mentioned later. And, in terms of numbers, we have more than 480 people registered, which is nice numbers. We're going back to numbers before the pandemics, and that's really interesting, and it means a lot for us and for the academia. 320 in person and 150 online. From this, we have, as you know, our Spanish section and the English section. So we have conferences in both Spanish and English, and so that you can decide which of them you want to participate in. And many countries represented. We have 48 countries represented, as it will be also mentioned. But in terms of organization, just to remember that today we have the flamenco show at 7 o'clock, these extra activities that we want to organize always, and that make more group. I mean, we try to make this kind of a big family, and these type of activities have always been a good link for all of us. That we have our conference dinner tomorrow. It's going to be at 9 o'clock in the evening. 9, I know that for some of you it's a bit late for dinner, but because of the weather and it's outdoors, so we're going to meet there at 9 and we will start by 9:30. Palacio Córdoba is an amazing spot, and you will really enjoy it. If you want, you can still register at the registration desk. And, we have our closing reception, also the third day of the conference. That's going to be at 5 o'clock at the hall, the main entrance of the School of Education. And, lunches and coffee breaks, etc., are downstairs at the cafeteria if you need anything. As you know, you have in this QR code, you have the program in both Spanish and English, in case that you want to, check your presentation or be aware of any possible changes that we may have due to, maybe sometimes personal reasons of people who couldn't attend finally, and we have to change or move any of the presentations. And of course, that you, after this conference, you have 1 year to, publish, to submit your papers to any of our journals. We're working hard to maintain them in Scopus, in good positions, and full of good sites and good authors and good thoughts. And that's mainly my introduction and my welcome. En español, pues creo que simplemente darle la bienvenida. Ahora tenemos a Bill Cope y Mary Calancis, que son los fundadores de Common Ground, y tenemos, como les decía, pues el honor también de contar con el vicedecano de la Facultad de Educación, el profesor Santiago Alonso, y el vicerrector de Estudiantes y Vida Universitaria del campus de la Universidad de Granada, nos comentaba, cerca de 60.000 estudiantes. El profesor Juan Luis Benítez Muñoz, a los que agradezco su participación. Como les decía, a nivel de organización, nos conocen ya, muchos de ustedes son repetidores, digamos, en este tipo de congresos. Y si tienen cualquier duda, tienen a los Emerging Scholars, a los que agradecemos toda su cooperación, para cualquier cuestión que pudieran tener en la que podamos echarle una mano, sea referida a la presentación o sea referida a cualquier tema relacionado con su estancia en la ciudad de Granada. Y recordaba que esta tarde tenemos el espectáculo de flamenco, que lo tenemos organizado como una de las actividades culturales. No podíamos pasar por Granada sin dedicar un rato a un espectáculo flamenco. Ayer tuvimos el tour, hemos organizado algunas visitas a la Alhambra también para los que han podido llegar con el tiempo. Y mañana tendremos la cena de gala del Congreso, que será en el Palacio de los Córdoba, un sitio realmente impresionante, el mismo que utilizamos, que hicimos y donde lo hicimos hace 20 años. Y luego tendremos el cóctel de despedida, el closing reception, a las 5 de la tarde el jueves, ¿vale? Más que despedida es hasta el siguiente Congreso, ¿no? Ahí ya hablaremos en el último día de ese último Congreso. El almuerzo y los descansos, los coffee breaks, son abajo en la cafetería. Y bueno, pues espero que lo disfruten y doy la palabra a mis compañeros Bill Cope y Mary Calances. Bill, please, your stand.
Okay. And the intros from the other two will come later.
Yeah, they will talk later. Yeah.
Okay.
They will close.
Okay. Okay. Well, welcome everybody, it's good to be here after, well, all these years. We've worked together for a very long time now. I thought what I would do is a way of talking about the past is do a little slideshow. And Mary talked me into doing this morning. I thought the problem with slideshows is they're kind of like a family story, but this is a family story actually. It's a family story of our family, including Philip and Tamsin and William and Sophia, but also an intellectual family that we've had with this community of scholars over many, many years. So I'm going to run a little slideshow now and talk about some of the things we did. And Jose, Luis, these are just things which Mary convinced me this morning to pull it together. So we're just opening it up now. So these are in no particular order, by the way. This is Philip. The world's changed and you wouldn't have people with a cigarette like that. One of the interesting things looking back over these slides is that image wouldn't have happened anymore. This is a quite, I don't want to use the word notorious, Australian Aboriginal activist who came to the conference. And that, by the way, that's Philip up there. And an African delegate whose name I don't remember now. These are in no particular order. Can I just use the arrow? No, I can't use the arrow. Use that one. But this will... Now,
Oh, wow.
guess who the person in the middle is? Guess who the person on the left is? And on the person on the right, people might know him as Tom Popowitz. Do people know Tom Popowitz, who was for many years a professor and a quite remarkable educator at the University of Wisconsin-Madison? Hopefully this will work. No, it doesn't work. Let's move on to the next one. Oh, it's over there. Now I know where it is. This is a kind of a great slide. There's Philip again, Tom Popowitz again. To Philip's left is Chris Gutierrez, who people might know, a really wonderful, wonderful person. She's still active and working at the University of California, Berkeley. She was here for the conference. But to Philip's, on the other side of Philip is Gunter Kress, who very sadly died a few years ago. So here he was at the conference. He was a regular attendee of these conferences, a really great person. Originally German, we met him in Australia, and then he went back and for the last part of his career was a professor at the Institute of Education, University of London. Let's move on. This was the dinner.
That's right.
Is the dinner here again?
Yeah.
Same place. There you go. So this is, we'll recreate this tonight. And by the way, this was exactly 20 years ago, in this part of July in the year 2005. Let's move on to the next one, see if I can do it. There we go. Dinner again. So those who are coming to the dinner, this is where we will be. And guess who that is?
Oh, wow.
Yeah. We haven't changed at all, have we?
No.
Dinner again. And then what we've had is this notion of talking circles. So Philip particularly wanted me to mention the talking circles to you. What we try to do is have as many formats as possible and as many ways of speaking. So people who are not familiar with our conferences, the talking circle sessions are later today, and it's simply a place. Talking circles are an Indigenous idea, an Aboriginal idea from many parts of the world, where you just simply sit around in a circle, say where you come from, say what you do, and get to know people. Now, in this conference, there's Mary speaking. Beside Mary is Gunter Kress, again, who died a few years ago and was a stalwart at these conferences for quite a long time. And here we are in this building, and by the way, here's a bit of a flashback. See the screen before? We're going to talk about artificial intelligence. Well, the intelligence we had in 2005 included an overhead projector. And that's Gunter Kress speaking off a slide. So again, you know, what's interesting is here we are in the same room. Nothing's changed? No, a lot of things have changed hugely, and in ways which are nearly incomprehensible. I keep on thinking, I want to talk to Gunter, and I want to say, look, what's happened with this AI stuff? What a crazy thing it is, in the sense that he worked in language all his career, and here we've got a language machine which has suddenly emerged in the last several years. So that's one of the big things we want to be talking about in this conference. And then, again, a talking circle. This time it was a Chris Gutierrez talking circle. And then this is the... we now have an Emerging Scholars program, which we didn't have then, but we had kind of a version of that where these were the people who were helping us run all the sessions. There was a special meeting at the end. And who's that person in the front there?
I don't know.
Yeah. So this was... at the end, when we got all those people together, and that is
Paco, the Dean of Education at that time.
Oh, okay. Yeah. There you go. I remember meeting him, but it's a while ago.
Some of these now are lecturers here at the university, senior lecturers, professors. Some of these emerging scholars 20 years ago.
Right, and the photo was taken just here. And then I wanted to go back to the very beginning. Right, and this is an ancient photograph. So we started doing this work, and everybody here, you need to spot Philip. Can you spot Philip? Right?
Yeah.
And you need to spot Mary, and you need to spot me, by the way. I haven't changed at all, have I? So one of the things, we started doing this common ground work, I say when I was a kid. This was not that long ago. We began with a printing press. This was a printing press that we had. It was initially in an old stable at the back of the house. We had an old house in Sydney, and we were producing educational materials. So now Common Ground has reached a point where it's nearly all digital. We do printed books as well, and we've been building an infrastructure which is a 21st century version of this printing press, which is how in the 21st century do we communicate scholarly ideas, how do we build intellectual community amongst each other. And in a funny sort of way, that's always what we've been trying to do, but I'm going to use a funny phrase, which some of you might recognise: you need the means of production to do it. Right, so we've been building the means of production, and the latest work we've been doing, which Mary and I will talk about in our session tomorrow. Philip's been working on it in one team with old Nancy, who's here, around building a next generation digital infrastructure, also informed by artificial intelligence. So we've been always building using printing presses. This is our version of things. I'm feeling that's the last image. Yes, it is the last image. So look, let me just say a couple more things. What we've done, a couple of things which are fast forward from that time, which we didn't do then. We have this mix of online and in person. So in fact, we have about the same number of people at the conference as we did in 2005, except everyone was in person before and there was no online component. Well now, again, this is being recorded. I welcome our online folks who are going to be watching this recording as soon as it's uploaded later in the day. So we're able to now welcome people who are not physically able or financially available to make this sometimes very long journey to wherever the conference happens to be. So we've done that. That's a very important thing. And what we have, the phrase that Philip uses, we have a kind of a time capsule of content. So about 300 people have contributed digital media to this conference. So if you folks are in person and you haven't contributed digital media, please do it, which might be a video recording of your session or a PowerPoint with voiceover, or just the PowerPoint for that matter. So that means the people who are online can also participate actively. But one of the nice things about the platform that we built, and we built it quite suddenly during COVID for the obvious reasons, is you can keep commenting later on. You know, it's an ongoing dialogue. So in a normal in-person session, there's not much time for questions, not much time to talk at the end of the session, but this means you can talk as much as you want. And when you do so, please use that even if you're at an in-person session. If you want to talk to the presenter, every comment you've made triggers an email to the other participants in that conversation. So it means that it's asynchronous, but people are alerted to the fact that you're there and you're talking. So, you know, the interesting thing is that the theme of this conference is this big picture view of the changing nature of technology and the impacts on education. Well, our history here and the history of our relationship has been one which is exactly that as well. So, welcome everybody. It's great to be here again. We hope you'll all be here for the next one in 20 years' time. Actually, there were one or two more pictures that I did miss. So let's go back, because there were a couple of. I just realised there is one another important picture in there which we must have missed. So let me just go up, which is. Keep scrolling through. Keep going. Keep going. Keep going. Keep going. Keep going. Keep going. We've gone past that. Oh, that's in this room again. So again, a replication of this room. That's Mary talking about learning by design back there, which is work we've still been doing. And let's go on. This picture's important, which is Michelle Nobles, another, who's here sitting next to Tom Pocket, and between that and Chris Gutierrez. She unfortunately passed away a couple of years ago as well. And this is her partner on the left here, Colin Lancashire. People might know Michelle and Colin did some really important work around digital literacy, and Colin's still active. And over here is Miguel Pereira, who was here. And he was our initial contact with Granada, in fact, and then we got to know Jose Luis, and the rest is history. So yes, that was another image that I wanted to show you. All right, folks, that's my little introduction. Now, Jose Luis, he's written down all the notes, and he's going to be able to absolutely accurately translate that all into Spanish.
In 1 minute. In 1 minute. Bueno, han podido ver muchas fotografías, una bienvenida de los 20 años que hemos estado y que llevamos trabajando juntos. Diapositivas, como decía, de una familia. Aparecían Tom Popkiewicz, por ejemplo, entre algunos de los personas que estuvieron hace 20 años aquí con nosotros. Aparecía Philip, Chris, por ejemplo, de la Universidad de Berkeley también. Algún colega que también pues, ha fallecido durante este tiempo, ¿no? Fotografías de la cena de un muchacho que había por ahí entonces organizando esto hace 20 años. Y hablaban también de algunas de las fotografías de los talking circles, que son esos círculos de diálogo que se hacen una vez que acaban las sesiones plenarias y que la verdad que distinguen bastante a este tipo de congresos que organiza Common Ground. Hablaba también de cómo han cambiado las tecnologías, como estamos ahora hablando de la inteligencia artificial, y hace 20 años teníamos un overhead projector, un retroproyector, que era lo que nos servía para poder poner algún tipo de imagen, ¿no? Los Emerging Scholars, que también era muy emotivo ver esa fotografía, porque algunos de ellos son ahora profesores en la universidad, profesores titulares, alguna acreditada para cátedra, y hace 20 años pues estaban colaborando y arrancando una carrera académica. Hablaba también Bill sobre la plataforma, sobre CG Scholar, que es una plataforma que une y que os puede dar mucho juego, porque el trabajo que subís se comenta por parte del resto de miembros de esta familia, de este Common Ground, y cualquier información, cualquier comentario que se haga sobre vuestro trabajo os llegará directamente al correo. Bueno, yo creo que más o menos ha sido un poco lo que os digo. La fotografía última, pues es verdad que es una fotografía bastante emotiva, porque algún compañero ya no estaba. Miguel Pereira fue el primer contacto que hubo aquí en la Universidad de Granada. De hecho, fue él el que contactó conmigo para trabajar con Common Ground. Y nada más, o sea, creo que os ha dado la bienvenida y he sido lo más breve que he podido. Muchas gracias.
You did well.
Mary, do you have anything else to say, or should we move to the...
Oh, yes. Would you want me to go last, or?
No, we're going next.
No, yeah, all right.
You're going to press the little button.
I have to press this? Okay. Hello, everybody. It is really a very emotional moment for us. Bill and I are here as founders of Common Ground, and it was 36 years ago in Sydney, Australia, where we had this conference, the learning conference, the very first conference of Common Ground. And why? We did it because conferences were narrow, they were closed, they weren't international, they weren't about action, and they weren't about politics, and they weren't about solving problems. And we thought we had to have a different model. So we started this as an intervention, right? And then we realized that the same problems all over the world. So we opened it up beyond Australia, and I was the one who suggested that we had to do it in other languages. I was hoping we'd have lots of languages, but Spanish is a very important global language, and we were lucky to have Professor Jose Luis Ortega, who joined us, and that strand is fantastic. And here we are together, English and Spanish, you know, and people from all over the world who have come together. And that really mattered to us, that we come together as international people solving common problems. So here in, you know, we were here 20 years ago at this university. It's a wonderful university, a very progressive, multicultural, cutting edge here in Granada. And it's wonderful to be back here with Jose Luis Ortega. But I have to say, we were the founders, we were the past. The future is in the hands of Philip Calancis Cope, Tamsin Gilbert, and Jose Luis Ortega. They're the people who've reshaped Common Ground, you know, by introducing new elements and new agendas, and we're very proud of them. And I just want to finish by saying our grandchildren are here. William and Sophia. They're the next generation in the future. And we are all here because we want that generation to have a better future, a positive future. And there are a lot of dangers at the moment. You know, 6 men in America, 2 in China, 1 in France, has stolen all the knowledge of the world, taken it, scraped it, and he's selling it back to us for $20 or $200, right? So what is the future for them, right? What is the future? And so this conference today here in Granada is really, really important. And the fact that you are from all over the world are here to talk about these issues and address them, because AI did not come from the university. Nobody in the university, they just stole our students. They take our students, our PhD students. So coming together today and over the next few days to address these issues is not just about our CVs. It's about preparing for the future and preparing for the lives of the next generation beyond this. So thank you. It's a real privilege to be here. Thank you very much. And thank you all for coming in person.
Through that camera, which goes out to the world.
Bueno, también el agradecimiento por parte de Mary Calancis, son los fundadores de Common Ground, tanto Mary como Bill. Empezaron hace 36 años en Sydney, decía, la primera conferencia de Common Ground, y se preguntaban que por qué se lanzaron a organizar congresos, y la razón era pues aunar para intercambiar opiniones, intercambiar investigaciones, estados de opinión, que en ese momento era también importante que no se quedaran apartados en cada una de las universidades y que salieran hacia la sociedad. Luego dice, y ha hablado también del avance que supuso para Common Ground la incorporación de la parte de español. Y es verdad que en un principio no había nada de esto, y nosotros en 2017 pues comenzamos con esta sección de español, que la verdad tiene bastante éxito. Bueno, habla de la maravilla de la Universidad de Granada, del trabajo que se ha hecho en esta universidad desde que empezamos hace 20 años hasta ahora, y el orgullo que supone para ellos estar aquí en nuestra universidad. Del futuro hablaba pues de Philippe Calancis Cope, que es el futuro, junto a Tamsin, que llevan esta empresa ahora mismo, que llevan esta idea de unir a través de los congresos. E incluso hablaba que estaban sus nietos también por aquí, que estaban sentados por allí arriba al fondo. Y nada más, yo creo que simplemente eso porque vamos un poquito tarde. Muchas gracias. Sí. Pues ahora la palabra la tiene nuestro compañero Santiago Alonso García. Santiago Alonso is the vice dean in charge of students of this School of Education. Santiago.
Buenos días a todos los presentes, a todas las presentes. Muchísimas gracias por estar hoy aquí. Agradecer en primer lugar a nuestro vicerrector de estudiantes el que nos haya hecho un hueco en su apretada agenda para acompañarnos hoy aquí, para estar hoy aquí con todos nosotros. Muchísimas gracias. Agradecer también a la organización, a Common Ground y especialmente pues, a nuestro querido compañero José Luis, el esfuerzo incansable que hace año tras año para seguir abanderando este tipo de reuniones por todo el mundo, ¿no? Darle la bienvenida en nombre del equipo de Canal, en nombre de nuestra estimada decana, doña Katia Caballero, la cual no ha podido asistir hoy aquí por cuestiones de agenda. Transmitirles un fuerte abrazo de su parte y los más cordiales saludos. Desde la Facultad de Educación, para nosotros es un orgullo que estén ustedes hoy aquí, es un orgullo que este congreso vuelva aquí después de 20 años. Hace 20 años yo era un estudiante que colaboraba con José Luis, estaba en la organización de este evento. Y bueno, con conocimiento sé del esfuerzo, del trabajo que conlleva este tipo de actos académicos, y la verdad es que son fantásticos, ¿no? Realmente después de la pandemia, todo este tipo de actos, entiendo que a nivel global se han ido reduciendo. Y por eso hoy tenemos que poner en valor este congreso, porque no podemos dejar perder la parte presencial de los congresos. Es fundamental, es muy importante que se siga dando, ¿no? Es evidente que el intercambio académico, a través de los papers, a través de las diferentes publicaciones, se da en nuestro día a día. Pero no podemos obviar lo fundamental que es el contacto personal, el contacto físico, ¿no? El poder conocer personas de diferentes contextos, de diferentes continentes, para intercambiar ideas de forma personal. Porque estarán ustedes de acuerdo conmigo en que la gran mayoría de los proyectos tienen, sin duda, una vinculación personal, ¿de acuerdo? Hay ahí un aporte de esa persona, un valor de lo humano, de lo personal, que arranca el proyecto, que arranca la investigación, que arranca la innovación. Entonces, agradecer, José Luis, de verdad, compañeros, daros las gracias por apostar una vez más por Granada, apostar una vez más por la Facultad de Educación. Os damos la más cordial, grata y cariñosa bienvenida. Estáis en vuestra casa, lo que necesitéis, por favor, no dudéis en solicitarlo, en pedirlo, y con todo el cariño y amabilidad os atenderemos lo mejor y lo antes posible. Sin más, para que siga el evento, le paso la palabra a nuestro querido vicerrector. Muchísimas gracias, bienvenidos, welcome.
It's going to be something quick. He thanked the Vice Chancellor, our colleague Juan Luis Benitez, for being here today with us, Common Ground, and someone else. And he welcomed you on behalf of the Dean of the School of Education, Professor Katia Caballero, who couldn't. I mean, she was thinking of coming today, but yesterday we got a phone call and she excused for not being here today. And he gives you greetings and all the best wishes on behalf of the Dean. He participated, Santiago, our colleague, participated 20 years ago as an assistant and a scholar in this organization of the conference. As you see now, he's the vice dean and a great partner and a very nice guy. Yeah. And well, in global terms, after the pandemic, so these conferences are coming down in terms of participation, and seeing now today this big room full of people and full of very nice people here who participate every year and move from one place to another, it's, in his words, something absolutely positive. The academia exchange, we have this exchange of papers, citations, whatever, but he means that the in-person participation, this of being here today, exchanging information, exchanging feelings, opinions, is much. And now it will be our colleague, our beloved and dear colleague, Juan Luis Benitez, who is the Vice Director, as I told you, for Student Services and Campus Life. Please.
Morning, querido Santiago, dear Bill, dear Mary, querido José Luis, distinguished guests, esteemed colleagues and fellow learners. Please, you are going to let me to read my speech because I can think as fast as I want when I'm not using my mother language. So, as normally I don't read, but well, for us it's a great pleasure to welcome you to the 32nd International Congress Learning. 20 years ago, we were as oral communicators. So it's a great honor to be here again. It's an honor to host such a globally significant event, one that brings together researchers, educators, and practitioners committed to the transforming education through dialogue, inquiry, and innovation. Allow me to express our sincere appreciation to the Scientific Committee and Common Grants for selecting Granada as the venue for this year's Congress. Your confidence in our university not only recognizes our commitment to educational excellence, but also affirms our place within the international community of learning and research. The University of Granada, established in 1531, has been a constant witness to the evolution of education throughout centuries. It's a place where tradition and transformation coexist. A living testament to the belief that knowledge is both inherited and reimagined. Unfortunately, our rector, Professor Pedro Mercado, is unable to attend today's inauguration. However, he sends his warmest regards and best wishes for a successful and inspiring Congress. His leadership continues to foster a university culture rooted in curiosity, inclusivity, and scholarly engagement. As we come together on the theme of human learning and machine learning, sharing some opportunities for artificial intelligence in education, we are invited to reflect deeply on what learning means in this rapidly shifting era. The 10 thematic areas that structure the Congress, from curriculum and pedagogy to identity, literacies, and learning through digital media, present us with both challenge and opportunity. Artificial intelligence now plays a transformative role in education, no longer a distant possibility. It's a daily reality in our schools, university, and research centers. All invites us to rethink how we personalize learning experiences, foster inclusion, and deepen understanding. It also urges us to ask difficult but essential questions. How do we ensure that technology serves learning without replacing the heart of human communication? How do we balance innovation with ethics? How do we prepare learners not just only for using the technology, but to shape it thoroughly? These are the questions that must be tackled with urgency and care. At the University of Granada, our Faculty of Education and Sciences, thank you very much. Muchísimas gracias, Santiago, for hosting the Congress. Muchísimas gracias por apoyar el Congreso y por acobijarnos. As I said, the Educational Science Faculty stands as the national and international leader in research on learning, teaching, and innovation. Our faculty contributions to inclusive education, critical pedagogy, and digital transformation are widely recognized. More importantly, we strive not only to understand how people learn, but also why they learn and to what end. As a centuries-old institution, we view the formation of our students and the contributions development of our teaching community as central pillars of our identity. We believe education is not merely a pathway to employment, it's the foundation of citizenship, critical thinking, and collective progress. In hosting this Congress, we reaffirm our commitment to fostering spaces where ideas flourish, diverse voices are heard, and collaborative solutions are built. We invite each of you to participate fully, to share your perspective, challenge assumptions, and live with both answers and new questions. And while you are here in Granada, I want you to explore Granada. It's a little bit hot city during these days, don't worry, but it's a city that welcomes you with warmth and embraces with beauty. Whether through its architecture marvels, cultural richness, the spirit Granada has a way of capturing hearts and minds. May it inspire you as much as the conversation you will have over the coming days. Bienvenidos a la Universidad de Granada. Para nosotros es un auténtico placer el que ustedes estén aquí. Gracias a José Luis, al comité organizador y a Common Grounds por hacernos partícipe de esta inauguración. Para mí es un placer volver a mi facultad, es mi segunda casa. Mi mujer dice que a veces es la primera. Pero como miembro del Departamento de Psicología Evolutiva y de la Educación, pues llevo en esta casa casi 25 años y para mí venir y compartir espacios y tiempo en esta mi casa es un placer. Decía que la Universidad de Granada es una institución preocupada en el desarrollo de la investigación sobre el aprendizaje continuo a lo largo de toda la vida. Que hayan elegido Granada para nosotros es también un motivo de satisfacción porque es reconocer a esta facultad y a esta universidad como un espacio de creación de investigación en cuanto al aprendizaje educativo. Desgraciadamente nuestro rector no puede estar con nosotros, pero sí que les remite pues, su más cálida bienvenida y el fuerte de los abrazos y con los mejores deseos de que las jornadas, la conferencia sea provechosa y sea interesante para todos. Decíamos que yo antes de ayer, cuando veía los temas que recoge la conferencia, no tengo más que darle la enhorabuena, puesto que partimos incluso de las bases más, como pueden ser el currículum y la pedagogía, hasta otros elementos, otras áreas de investigación, de inclusividad, de medios digitales e incluso ya la introducción de la tan temida, por desconocida, que es la inteligencia artificial. La inteligencia artificial va a jugar un papel potente y obviamente importante en la educación. Lo que pasa es que sí que tenemos que ver cómo implementamos la inteligencia artificial en el sistema educativo, cómo aprovechamos ese recurso, cómo hacemos que esa herramienta sea válida para el proceso de enseñanza-aprendizaje de nuestros estudiantes, al tiempo que también debemos preocuparnos por la formación que damos a los futuros docentes. Para ellos, la IA tiene que ser un recurso, una herramienta más que tengan que utilizar en el proceso de enseñanza-aprendizaje. Lograr ese balance o ese equilibrio entre la innovación y los procesos de enseñanza-aprendizaje, llamémosle tradicionales, es donde puede estar la dificultad. Decía que están también ustedes en una facultad que, como decía, y José Luis y Santiago podrán estar de acuerdo conmigo, seguro, no porque sea vicerrector, sino porque van a estar de acuerdo, que en los últimos 25 años ha sufrido un cambio, no tengo palabra para definirlo. Una facultad en la cual se nos tachaba de docentes, no investigadores, pero que en los últimos 25 años hemos sido ejemplo de ser docentes e investigadores. Lo de investigadores pueden tenerlo mucho, lo de docentes, creo que hacemos gala en esta casa. Por tanto, la contribución que ha hecho la facultad y todos los miembros que componen la comunidad de esta facultad en cuanto a la investigación en educación inclusiva, pedagogía crítica, transformación digital, son ampliamente reconocidos. Como una universidad con casi 500 años de historia, sí que seguimos apostando por, no solo, como decíamos antes, la formación del estudiantado. Hablamos de una formación integral. No nos importa crear solamente buenos científicos, buenos académicos, buenos profesionales, sino que lo que nos debe perseguir es la formación de ciudadanos, de buenas personas que además hagan un trabajo maravilloso. En este sentido, la Universidad de Granada sigue preocupándose por esa formación integral y por esa formación como persona. Y les decía que aprovechen Granada, a pesar de la temperatura, déjense embaucar, déjense convencer por esta maravillosa ciudad. A mí me convenció hace 25 años, entre ella y mi mujer me convencieron, soy granadino de adopción, pero Granada ofrece una herencia cultural, una herencia arquitectónica que seguro que les va a atraer. Y ya no puedo decir eso de que cuando estén en Granada van a volver, ya han vuelto después de 20 años, pero quien haya venido por primera vez, que tenga seguro que volverá, porque ese es el secreto de Granada. Quien la prueba por primera vez siempre repite. It's my honor and privilege to declare the 32nd International Congress of Learning officially inaugurated. Es un placer y un honor declarar oficialmente inaugurada el 32º Congreso Internacional en Aprendizaje. Muchísimas gracias.
I just want to make one brief thank you for this. Look, it's a great honour to be at a university which was founded in 1531. I think what we need to remember is that's just after the invention of the printing press, which was a seminal moment, which created modern education and modern universities. We're in another seminal moment now, which we're discussing at this conference. I wanted to mention also that next year we're moving to the other end of this big Eurasian continent, to Hong Kong. It's just over that way. I was reading a bibliometric analysis the other day of recent work on education technology and artificial intelligence and all these very new things that are happening, and that this university, the University of Hong Kong, is one of the great universities of the world in this moment thinking about these issues. So we're going to be moving from one great university to another. So I hope you can all make it to Hong Kong next year, virtually, if not in person. Thank you, everybody, and thank you for that very generous welcome, and we're honoured to be here.
Thank you.